This is the Uprising Revival channel. Welcome to today's show. Over the years, especially the last few years, I've talked about what most of us know of as the liberal hive mind. The hive mind, obviously something I've covered many years. We've seen it in American Horror Story. We know the hive mind is the beehive mind, right? The one thought, the trap mindset, where everybody is just hive-minded to believe and follow the same things. And this has been something we've always seen with people who identify as Democrats, right? Now we're seeing the conservative hive mind. We are seeing the hive minding of the Christians, of the conservatives, of the quote-unquote Republicans. Now, maybe I'll be protected now that I'll be calling out Republicans and conservatives, now that the seesaw and the tables are shifting in the opposite direction, where they're beginning a mass herding of conservatives. Maybe they'll leave me alone, but I doubt it. Because the only ones they want to keep you hive-minded with are the Ben Shapiros of the world. You know, the people who never have to deal with censorship, who could talk about similar topics, who won't get strikes for bullying when they speak against people who cross-dress, et cetera, et cetera. And this is all done by design. This is now the massive herding. I've always talked about if you break free from the left-right, you'll break free from the mind control. But people still want to believe and stay hive-minded in this, believing in Trump, that Trump's going to save the day. And it's always been a deception and a trap. And now we're seeing it twofold. And on top of seeing a hive mind from these people, we're seeing them suddenly do all the things that we saw that was conditioned for the Democrats and the liberals happen to them. They're now believing the stories that they once called fake news. They're now believing all these stories that the mainstream media is reporting on. It shows you how quick they can flip the script. And these same people who think that they're awake and think that they've been calling out, you know, the fake news, et cetera, are now believing the news that they're hearing without thinking once. Or am I being lured into a trap? Why is the media suddenly on my side? Because you're being herded and you're hive-minded completely. So there's multiple stories out there, okay? And I know I can't show you a lot of stuff on the screen, so I'll try to show pictures of some of these people. But I want to show you the hive-minding that they're doing. Keep in mind, there's been this quiet narrative over the last year or so about Netanyahu becoming a conservative or being a conservative, when in reality, Bagelville is responsible for all of the liberal stuff that you see going on. It comes right out of there, okay? It's bagel communism. That's what it is. That's the definition of what we're seeing. This has happened so many times over. You want to look at the Bolshevik Revolution. All these things have always been about bagel communism. So the fact that all the stuff we're seeing here, people are going, oh, it's communism, it's coming right out of there. There's no such thing as conservatism over there. But what you're hearing and you're seeing with the herding is that they're pretending now to be conservative because they're luring Christians in and they're saying, oh, we have morals. Oh, we care about this. When in fact, all their books that they don't want you to know about or talk about all the depravity going on in the world. So keep that in mind, how they've started to, before all this happened, portray Netanyahu as a conservative. Number one, let's start with this story. This story is circulating, right? And it's a pretty, this just falls right in with the stuff we always hear when they want to use victimization and herd you towards certain people. So a quote-unquote Satanic Synagogue, a synagogue president supposedly has been murdered at her home, okay? And this story is being blasted all over the media, so they're making you think that now civilians, because of course, remember, this is how it all starts to filter down, is that what goes from war, then it goes to all of the people, regular people, right? Divide and conquer. People are freely going and killing people based on their religion now, based on how they look, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm showing you the photograph of this woman who supposedly was killed, of course, side by side with Jane Fonda, because we all, hang out with Jane Fonda. Of course, I gotta say, Jane Fonda doesn't look too bad for 195 years old. No, I'm just kidding. She looks horrible. Jane Fonda, of course, one of the most wicked witches in the world, of course, who continually, is getting plenty of that chrome to stay alive, has been showing its face a lot recently, if you want to call it a face, popping up all over the media, The View, et cetera, promoting, of course, satanic agendas, and of course, telling people if they don't side with so-and-so, if you don't let kids castrate themselves, that you're a bad person, etc. So very convenient that this woman happens to be in a photograph. This is the one they're showing on the news. I mean, it's not like I got this photograph out of this president of the synagogue's home. So obviously we know that these stories are always planted. Usually what happens, people don't get it, is that these people who are involved in this, who have a role to play, who are members of secret societies, they just They just get a new name, a new driver's license, a new social security number. They get shipped off to somewhere different and they live their life. And that's exactly here. So it's probably a promotion for the president of the synagogue in Detroit. Actually, it's not probably, it is a promotion. And of course, maybe give her a new nose along the way so nobody ever recognizes her. But nobody will, because nobody really knows who it is. And they'll just remember the story and it'll fade out of their mind. But what they'll remember in their mind is an attack on an innocent person by the people with the towels who are running amok, who are crossing through the border, right? And again, you're seeing all the conservatives hive-minded. The other things, let's get into. These are just phenomenally hypocritical. And of course, this is one of the ones we all knew and know are going to happen. Here is Pastor Haggy. Now, I don't ever really talk about any of these pastors because I don't follow any of the evangelicals. I don't know how anybody could sit and listen to these people and not see fraud tattooed on their foreheads and their $1 trillion homes and, preaching, money and all this other stuff. Anyway, John Haggy, right? This is his quote. I can't play you the clip, but I can tell you what he says, so I'll spare you having to listen to this guy. Pastor Haggy on Fox News warning that Iran would be delighted to attack the U.S. Quote, they hate us, right? So they're using ministers, they're sucking Christians in, right? Christians are seeing this, they're getting riled up. They see him with an American flag behind him, perfectly positioned. On the other side, a bagel flag. And of course, he's sitting there and he's going, they're going to come for us. They're delighted to, trying to rally the troops, so to speak, into the now the conservative hive mind of you have to support you have to support the bagels. If you don't, you're not a good Christian. If you don't, you realize that there's going to be attack in America, and of course there will be, because they're already telling us that there's going to be false flag attacks in America. They're not saying false flag, but they're saying attacks, and of course all those attacks in this country are going to be blamed on the people with the towels. And then once the conservatives, who once believed that everything within the last year or two, all they believed with Trump is that everything on the news is fake and everything on the news is, all these people who are liberal or hive-minded and they think that this stuff is natural. They won't snap out of it and realize that they're being hive-minded now. Okay? You know that's what's going on. And all one has to do is look at how liberal media is under attack from Bagelville, the people who control it. Okay, they're going on CNN. Like one of the stories out there is the head of the IDL is on CNN confronting one of the anchors about how they're not being pro-Bagelville enough. This is staged. Of course, they run the media. Everybody knows that. That's the most basic thing to understand, is that the communications and all this stuff and the behavioral control comes out of Bagelville. They control it. They run it. When you look at all those graphs and you see, BlackRock and Vanguard, are you not looking above that? Who those people are, what their quote-unquote religion is. Okay, it all comes out of Bagelville. All of the brainwashing, all the mind control, all the grooming comes out of there. Okay, so they obviously, while they're victimizing themselves, they're playing the role of trying to lure Christians in. And they're going, look, CNN, like the video I just put up on the website, Uprising Revival. If you didn't see it, check it out. Okay, they're showing on their YouTube channel, they're talking about fake news and they're calling CNN fake news, NBC fake news, right? So what does this tie into? It ties in with what we see with Trump over and over. And nobody's arguing that's not fake news. So why would the liberal media suddenly be coming out? And well, they're trying to play a neutral role because they don't want to be overly suspicious and they don't want to lose their bagel followers. They're playing a role where they're not going, we must go after the people with the towels. They're staying in that divided left-right instead of everyone uniting, if this was a true story, and saying, hey, let's go get these people, et cetera, right? So they're still playing their role so that conservatives are seeing the liberal media and they're going, look at them. They're not supporting Bagelville. They're wicked. They're horrible. These people are out of control. They're keeping you in that still, despite the fact that these people aren't realizing that all the NBC, CNN, all the control comes out of this territory that's supposedly under attack. Okay, this controlled war machine. So this is done by design. That's the most basic thing people need to look at, is say, okay, well, their narrative, why all of a sudden these people who, the NBC, CBS, CNN, over the years, all we've heard about is story this, story that, and anti-what? Anti-what? You're anti-this, you're anti-that. If you question this, you're anti-this. Okay, now all of a sudden they're siding with the other side. Deliberate. Keeping the hive mind moving, keeping the hive mind shifted, keeping the division shifted, hurting. So that's just another telltale sign. And with all these pastors showing up now on Fox News, you're starting to see the revealing of the evangelical CIA operation, because that's what it is. They're revealing themselves. So another story on Fox. And again, I can't show you the headlines, but I'll read them to you so you're listening. I don't really need to see it, but you can go see for yourself on Fox's YouTube channel. I mean, it's hard not to laugh at some of this stuff, but we have a UC Berkeley professor, right? So here's the headline, because Fox News is full throttle now. If you're not supporting Bagel, you're not a Christian. Okay, so Fox News is playing their role, which again is what I said. Fox News is fully controlled. The only reason they allow Fox News to give you a little taste of conservative. Remember, like Fox News was even airing stuff that was people who bobatize themselves. I mean, it's unbelievable. People think it's actually, Fox News is allowed to say this, but people like me aren't, or you aren't. It's controlled. It's part of the herding mechanism. So here's the headline on Fox News. A UC Berkeley professor urges against the hiring of pro-hummus students. It's time for adults to step in. So look how hypocritical this is. Now, after they've conditioned all the liberals out there into this stuff, and I warned about whatever your take is, liberal, conservative, to not give into this cancel culture, to not say that you want so-and-so silenced. Even the people who continually were silencing all of my channels, I was saying, don't silence them. Let me bully them back, because I'll bully them and walk them off a cliff. Okay? But the problem is that they won't let me bully them back. But we don't need to cancel them back, because that's what they want. They want us to cancel each other out. Whether you're conservative and liberal, Christian and a Satanist, they want you to cancel out speech. They want you to cancel everything out. Right? And the Republicans and the conservatives have, look at these people, cancel culture, just a liberal thing. Oh yeah? Now we're seeing conservatives doing it, right? Because Fox News is promoting all these quote unquote liberal professors from universities who are out there sitting there going, oh my goodness, don't hire anybody who has a different viewpoint than us. Don't hire anti-blank law students. Don't hire anybody who's pro-hummus. Don't let them in. Oh, it's time that we start looking at people who are not fully supporting Bagelville as terrorists in our own country. This is the same thing they just did on the other side. So it's about the hurting of the behavior, right? When you start giving into this type of behavior, you start calling for canceling, not hiring people, firing people. You start calling people terrorists based on whatever side they're taking in something like this. Then you have to start looking overall at how this is completely working on our society to cancel one another out, to say, if you don't agree with me, you don't deserve to speak. You don't deserve to work. This is just what we went through where we said the libs doing it to everybody else. Now the conservatives are doing it. And this is perfectly designed. I'll tip my hat to these people because I've been waiting. I've been warning about the left-right. How long have I been warning? And people have been like, well, but still, it's the better of two evils. I'll side with them. Oh, yeah? You're starting to see it now? You're starting to see why all of the Daily Wire and those people never got canceled? Because they've been sitting there waiting, tickling your ears with a lot of the topics that I cover, right? A lot of the stuff with the, cross-dressing, et cetera, So people go, yeah, these people are right, making fun of them and being allowed to make fun of them where people like me and you aren't allowed to. And now you're seeing them fully say, you need to 100% support. You need to 100% support. If you're Christian, you need to 100% support. You can't even have any unwavering support. These are the narratives. You can't be a little bit this way and have any, they're telling you can't have any sympathy for the other side. You can't have any sympathy for the babies on that side, the women on that side, none. That's how insane this is. And they're not seeing it. They're like, yeah, and the Bible tells us we have to do this. And it's like, yeah, the Bible also tells you about those people who claim to be one thing and are not, are of the synagogue of Satan. But they won't get it through their mind control. It's showing, now we're seeing how thick this is. And this war that we've been involved in, this psychological war, this is what's scary about everything I've talked about over the years, is that it's been such a struggle, and it is such a struggle. And I hear a lot of you always complaining about, I'm trying to wake up my friend, I'm trying to. Of course, it's very difficult to wake up the people closest to you. But it's always been about waking up atheists, waking up liberals, right, who are not realizing the things that they're asking for are going to lead to their enslavement. Now the tables are turning, which has been happening. Like I've been talking about how we need to pull people out of the left, right, and pull people away from Trump. But the mindset's been like, well, I support Trump. Even if you're right, I'd rather vote for the guy who's, blah, 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 blah. And they don't realize that their behavior's being herded through this, that they're now acting the same way as the liberals are, where they're saying, you have to do this, you have to believe that, let's not hire people, let's cancel people. And they don't even realize it. And they're actually listening to the news that they once questioned and not realizing that they're being herded in. Just look, all somebody who's conservative has to do is look at the liberal media and how they're handling this. You have the bagels coming out saying, oh, we see fake news. CNN's fake news. Bagelville runs CNN. That's all they should be saying. All of a sudden, they're not pro-Bagelville. All of a sudden, they're being considered anti-this. I mean, this is hurting 101. And the right is doomed. Doomed. Because they're going to think that they're winning this. They're going to come out of this thinking they're winning. They're going to go, they're pro-Bagelville. Bagelville will obviously conquer. Trump will be put in. And then you're going to start seeing the crumbling of the other side, because the other side is not who they're targeting to destroy and demolish, because those people are already destroyed and demolished. Those people are already clueless. Those people are already okay because they've weakened them so much with being slaves for the rest of their lives. They're fine as long as they have their video games and whatever else. You could convince them of anything. The conservatives are the ones who are supposed to be freely thinking, reading the warnings of prophecy in the Bible, and they're not. They're not. They're misinterpreting, and they're getting deceived by their own church. And now they're believing again and getting sucked into the alt-right media, which has been put in place specifically by design. They've built up trust. They've built up a following. I mean, I'm amazed that I still see people say stuff about Russell Brand like he's credible. Like, I often wonder, like, if Jeff C. was still alive, he'd be like, his head would explode, believing that people are actually, like, debating if that guy's a shill or not. Right? When we talk about shills, like, a lot of people throw those words around, people they don't like I don't like so-and-so, I don't agree with so-and-so, and they go back and forth, and I've been in those in the past. It's like, oh, okay, really, we see the real agents. You have people from Hollywood who are pretending to be truthers and conservative. You have people like Ben Shapiro who are living in the land of bagels, who are allowed to say whatever they want freely, who are obnoxious little pricks. I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible. And his head would have exploded. Many people's, I'm sure, are over what they're seeing, but it's perfectly crafted. This is perfectly orchestrated. And now all of these churches, which a lot of you I know have messaged me about so-and-so being, deceiving his following, etc. You're seeing them reveal themselves because they're all going to come on TV, and now they're going to get Christians into a religious war. Christians are getting dragged into this to now hate Muslims. And this is what they want. This is what Pike designed. This is what they've all designed with the Third World War. Christians are going to be fully involved in this, and they are getting sucked into this. They've already been, gaslit enough. They've been riled up enough over the years with all the crazy stuff by design that Bagelville has infiltrated in our society here in America, where people are just losing their minds. Like, I can't believe it's going on in schools. I can't believe it's going on in church. I can't believe people are agreeing with this insane stuff. All coming from Bagelville, and they don't even know it. All in their books, all in their teaching. They don't know about the Bolshevik Revolution. They don't know about any Christian genocides that have occurred, the Armenian, etc. They know nothing. Nothing. And then they sit there and they act like they know what's going on. They're like, I know truth. I know Q. I know fake news. Fox News is real. It's like, you're just as bad, if not worse, because you think you're awake. Although I guess the liberals think they are too. But this is a mass hive minding going on right now. So just be aware of these stories. Again, I'll just recap some moments I covered because I'm sure you've seen them out there. The woman who's the president of a synagogue killed. All the innuendos are she was killed because of her religion, right? So they start this religious war. Of course, standing side by side with the 275-year-old Jane Fonda, whose face looks like it's been punched quite a few times, of course, still alive and kicking and showing no signs of being 195 because of all the chrome that's been taking down its throat. But you have that narrative. You have John Haggy. They hate us. They're going to kill Americans, preparing you for an attack in America, which of course will be blamed on them, but it'll happen from your own government here. And all those orders will be coming directly out of the land of bagels, just like they did on the 11th day of September. Of course, the stuff beforehand that we saw Netanyahu siding with and being conservative in the liberal media eye, done by design, okay? And then you have the canceling, right? Stripping of rights, civil, culture wars, et cetera, et cetera. You have Fox, all these conservatives are demanding that people who aren't pro-bagel should be thrown out of school, should be fired from. It's unbelievable. Do they not see that this is supposed to be New World Order behavior? This is how you get to a 1984. By everybody following and acting the same way. Instead of going, we don't need to cancel anyone's opinion. These people are just a-holes. Or these people are just... No, we have to cancel their opinion. We have to cancel their income. We have to throw them out of schools. We have to ban them from doing this, ban them from doing that. We have to shame them. It's ridiculous. Conservatives now, they're on the clock. And watch this mass hurting occur. I thank everyone for being here. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope to see you on the website, uprisingrevival.com, for more uncensored content, and of course sharing stuff over in the forum. Hope to see people there. Thank you again. God bless all of you as always, and your families.